Okay noobs, I've got a new quadcopter to review, so let's get right to it. The kind folks over at Arris Hobby sent me a little care package, the contents of which include the x180 FPV Racing Quadcopter kit. This is by far the smallest frame I've ever built, so let's see what we've got. Included are 4 Arris Falcon 30-amp ESCs running BL Heli with damp light and one-shot support, a TS5823S 200mW 40-channel transmitter and a cloverleaf antenna, a buzzer, and a small PDB, an F3 based flight controller, 4 Arris 2205 2600 kV motors, 2 clockwise and 2 counterclockwise, a 600 TVL board cam, a set of 40/50 props, a 3D printed spacer and 2 battery straps, some standoffs and hardware including an XT60 mount which is cool, a CD with something on it, adjustable camera mounts, the frame of course, a list of safety tips which is a good thing to include in a beginner kit, and of course the build instructions. Examining the frame plates, we see the bottom plate has a nice etching of the frame name, which is a nice touch. The bottom plate is 3mm thick, which is pretty standard, while the top plate and camera cover are 1.5mm. That's a pretty standard set of measurements, which should result on a fairly tough frame. Assembling the kit can be a challenge because there just isn't a whole lot of room in there. It's a small frame and the height clearance is just enough for the flight controller and wiring to fit, so you'll want to dry fit as you go to make sure you can fit everything in there. There's no room for bullets on the motors, so be brave and cut those motor wires short. It may take a bit of fooling with, but once you get everything in, the result is a very clean looking build that you can take nearly anywhere. Out at the proving grounds, I did find a fault with this kit, which is the PDB does a poor job of filtering the power for the FPV gear. This results in lines across the video, especially during punch-outs. I took the frame apart and added the smallest LC filter I could find, and the next flight displayed much cleaner video. I did report this to the manufacturer, so hopefully they'll improve the PDB or at least offer an option for filtering power soon. Just to be sure it could handle some abuse, I completely, 100% on purpose, ran it into this iron bar. It was fine. With stock PIDs on the latest clean flight, the x180 is a breeze to fly in angle mode. I could easily hand this off to any beginner and they'd be able to fly it without any problems at all. Flying in the evening, the FPV camera was having a hard time with low light levels, but this is to be expected. Having more room to play in, I was able to push the x180 a little harder on the 1400 4S LiPo. This seemed to be a sweet spot for the x180 as there was plenty of speed and control. Tossing it into acro mode, I was able to push the roll rates a little higher than I normally would for a maiden, and it was obvious I could have pushed it a lot further. This little guy has no lack for power. My only concern is how close the props are to your battery leads in the rear. Rotate your battery so it stands up tall rather than wide, and keep the leads in tight if you want to keep them from getting sliced. If you're looking to get started with FPV, or just want something a little smaller to fly at the park, the Arris X180 is a good choice all around once you've worked out the kinks. With a proper tune and some decent power filtering, the X180 is a great choice for beginners as well as seasoned pilots looking for something small and quick. It's not the easiest kit to build, so if this is your first frame, go with the RTF or get some help. Once the X180 is in the air, it's a blast to fly with plenty of power and control, definitely not as twitchy as some of the other small frames. You can purchase it as a frame, a kit, or even ready to fly for less than $275 on hobbywing.com or arishobby.com. Thanks for watching another noob review. Like and subscribe for more RC reviews, and I'll see you in the air.